All right, so I have kind of a not so great setup right now. I have to be up and leave in 6 hours, but I want to talk about my guitar tones because they're kind of cool. I'm using my Quad Cortex. That is Cortex Control, which is like the software that I use on my computer to control my Quad Cortex. I'm going to use this to show you the patches and everything. I'm playing the Meteora. I honestly think this is one of the best sounding guitars I've literally ever played in my life. So we start off, there's kind of like 3 or 4 main tones that I'm using. I'm using like just straight up distortion. I'm using kind of a cleaner tone. I have like an ambient tone, and then I have like an octave drop tone. And before we go through each one, I'm going to show you the, like kind of how each tone is set up. You'll see here, if I flip through these presets, they all look relatively the same, as in like there's a pitch block, there's compression and EQ. Some of them have an overdrive before the amp, but there's 2 amps, 2 EQs, 2 cabs, and then some EQ after. In like all of these, they're all pretty much the same. And so the way that it works is some songs need a little bit of extra gating. So you'll see that there's this adaptive gate that'll pop up, but then also I'm gating on the input as well. And then there's a pitch block. Now, this pitch block changes depending on what song it is. So this is repitching my guitar to the key of the song. And I'm bouncing back and forth between like drop C sharp and half step down. There's some songs that just because of the way that I like to play, I'm pitching them down a little bit, or I'm pitching them up a little bit, or they're like not even getting pitched at all. And then you'll also see some songs have another pitch block that's doing a full octave drop, and that is dependent on which scene I have selected. So you'll see that like that's transparent. That means that it's not on. But if I go to the patch with it on, it'll be on like this right here. Okay, so A is typically my cleaner tone. B is typically my main distortion tone. C kind of bounces depending on what song it is, whether it's ambient or octave drop. And then D is kind of the same thing. It could be ambient, it could be octave drop. We start out the set kind of heavy. This is the first tone that I'm using. And basically what this is the pitch block has got me down 9 semitones. I'm hitting a compressor. I kind of always have a compressor in front of like every tone ever for the most part. Doing a little bit of EQ, and this kind of changes from song to song, but I really wanted this one to be kind of genty. So, you know, extra little bit of 1K. Yep, the green 808 Tube Screamer. I use this thing. This is probably the most used overdrive block that I use. There isn't really like a clean tone in this song, so this is literally, I think I only stay on this patch. A 5150, these are my settings, and then it goes into this EQ right here, which is kind of just sucking out a little bit of hiss, giving me a little extra disjoint tone right there. Into the 412 Zilla Custom. Interesting. I normally go with the Mesa Oversize, but these tones are kind of old. I made these like right when I first got the quad for John's set, and I haven't really updated them like at all. The Zilla 412, basically just stock how it comes, didn't change anything. And then there's a little bit of EQ after the cab, sucking out a little bit of boxiness, giving it a little bit of extra top end, and at the end of this song, there is an ambient section where I do like some swells. I'm clipping, as you can see, but I don't fucking care. There's another EQ that kicks on that kind of filters out my tone, takes out the top end, some of the bottom end, and then the plate lush comes on and the digital delay comes on. That's interesting. I'm not using the tape. echo. I feel like that's the one that I normally go to, but I don't really use spatial effects on the quad that much. It's mostly like in the DAW because I don't really play that much. I'm going through the set some more. Lost Cause. This one has a cool little tappy part. This is what that sounds like. It's kind of clean. So the other amp that I'm using is the Twin Reverb US Twin normal, a little same sort of EQ. Actually, the opposite EQ. I'm sucking out some of those jaunty bing, bing frequencies and putting in a little bit more top end. I love scooped clean tones a lot. The 212 Zilla cab, interesting. I haven't used these in a long time, but this is actually, it looks like using an IR from one of my cabinets. This cabinet right here, which you can't really see, but that's fine. And then I've got a little bit of, the digital delay. Most of the blocks, like I said, just stay the same from song to song. Pretty simple, but that's my clean tone for the tappy part. And then once the song comes in, it switches over to this one is the same thing. This one actually has a stupid tone. So this one has a pretty big pitch shift. It's going, well, down 3 semitones for the main tone. It's the 5150, but it's cranked a little bit more. It's a little bit more like genty. And I think I'm boosting the output gain of the compressor and the EQ before it so that it's just kind of getting a little bit of extra snarl. But then, as soon as we hit the pre-chorus, that pitch block, instead of going down 3, goes down by 15. I don't really know how, but it actually sounds really good. And I've got like the sort of radio filter on it because it's like the pre-breakdown tone. And then for the breakdown, I take that filter off. Same thing. Treble's getting boosted even more. The presence getting boosted even more. And somehow there's like a pretty decent note there. Surprisingly clean. That is the heaviest tone in the set for sure. Now we get into more of the like pop punk territory. This is the Elena Tone, which is literally just the 5150. But again, my pitch block is shifting my guitar to the key, and then I've got the 5150 again. Pretty basic settings. Now, the thing that I need to tweak is there is a clean section in the pre-chorus. Right now, it's kind of too juiced. So I'm going to bring this down. And I'm going to bring this down, maybe. I don't know how to do this in Cortex control, but I know how to do it on the actual quad. So I'm just going to do that really quick. And that basically sets it up to where between these, the amount of whatever knob will change because I don't want all of this overdrive. All right, next. Anything special going on? Paint the walls. Again, this one's literally just straight 5150 the whole time. Nope, nothing changes. This is something that I do with every tone ever, live, studio, doesn't matter. There's a spring reverb before every amp with like at least 0.1% of spring going into the amp. I don't know what it does. It just kind of makes the amps like fluffier. It makes them sound more real, in my opinion, because like the quad amps sound good, but they just like sound a little too good sometimes. And this is it kind of like makes them like a little, you know, grosser, messier, whatever. This is At My Worst, I think. Again, literally just 5150 the whole time. And again, there is like a little octave drop, a moment. See, I don't have them set up. I need to like go through and organize this and make it to where it's like every single one of these is like C is always the octave drop, D is always ambient, E is something, you know what I mean? I kind of have it different per song, but I remember them somehow. Roses is my favorite John Harvie song and will always be my favorite John Harvie song. It is so vibey and gazy and everything that I love about music. It is so good. I don't play this like the record really. So I have a clean tone with the filter EQ on, verb and delay, and there's a chorus in the chain. And because I'm pitching this down by 4 semitones, I'm playing it way lower than the record, but it gets kind of warbly because I'm playing these like major 7 shapes, which like the pitch shifter in the quad does not do well if you do anything other than like power chords, really, or mostly just single notes. But and it just sounds all like weird and digital and like fucked up, and it's super sick. And then when the song kicks in, you know, just straight. Again, just 5150. Super sick, but it's the same as all the other songs, maybe a little bit extra juice. Beauty in the Bad Things. This one has a little bit of some ambiance going on. Oh, that wasn't right. Also, if you guys are hearing that noise that sounds like this, that is my computer, which is currently 6 inches from the pickups of my guitar. And when my guitar isn't directly in front of my computer, it doesn't do that. That's why gates are sick. This one is a little bit more spring, lush plate, digital, oh, tape delay. There we go. There's that tape delay. And then that gets kicked back over to the 5150. And I have the tunings in the names if you didn't see that already, but like this one I tune up to standard, Roses was in drop, you know, blah, 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 blah. And luckily the set list is kind of arranged to where the tunings stay. Figure 8 banger song starts out with the ambient shit. And for this one, I don't like the just absolute wailing 5150, so I juiced up the twin a little bit, and it's kind of in between where the twin normally sits and where the 5150 is. Oh. This is the type of tone that I would normally play with, because it's like clean, but also just like it's Velcro. It's a Velcro tone. To me, like Velcro tone is exactly what you should be looking for. I love that one. That one's sick. That leads us to Bleach, which is literally it. Starts with a clean tone. Most of the time, Reese plays a lot of these parts. So I've had to like learn new stuff, which is fine, but that is the guitar tone. Super simple.